I lived in an old post-war house. It is notable because it was built by the Germans. It was a small, well-built house, and if it wasn't for our communal workers, it would have been in good condition. There is also a cellar in our house, a luxury nowadays. Each of the 18 apartments had a separate room. Our basement was notable for turning into a stinking swamp, but when the communal workers arrived, the stench disappeared. Although, if you ask any of the tenants of the house, anyone will say that they never saw them. But the work was being done. The second feature of our basement is 19 rooms. It is not known why the German soldiers built one extra one. The door to this room was iron, 2 fingers thick. It was constantly slamming and it made me wake up at night. It was difficult to explain this behavior. How could there be such a draft in an isolated room that would cause such a heavy door to slam? Whenever this happened, the neighbors would come to that door, but it ended when they smelled the smell coming from that door. It was peculiar, very nasty, and disgusting. It was not the responsibility of the utility company to deal with that door. It was an unusual door. It had tin rivets painted white on the corners. It looked like it had been constantly renewed. The reason none of the people reached the door was fear. They thought that once they took a couple of steps, it would slam shut and never open again. That's how we lived our lives, avoiding the door. There was an alcoholic. His name was Phil. He was a kind man, but when he got drunk, he always wanted to do something. On one of these impulses, he hung a big barn lock on the door and welded it shut. He didn't have a key, so we turned a blind eye to it. Nobody was going to go in there anyway. The tenants breathed a sigh of relief. It was safe to go down to the basement. That's what I did one Friday evening, wanting to please myself with pickles. As I entered the hallway, I saw a flickering light bulb that threatened to leave me in the dark, so I hurried down. As I passed the 19th door, I heard unintelligible sounds, like someone behind the door pulling something across the floor. After a few moments, the sound stopped. Without giving it much thought, I went to the basement. Looking for the jar, I fell out of reality and woke up a couple minutes later. Walking back out, hearing the rustles, my whole body went numb. They weren't rustles, they were bumps against something heavy. So I stood there, hugging the pickle jar. The sound came from the 19th door. For me, those couple minutes felt like hours. But the sounds didn't stop. They got louder and louder. Something started banging and scratching at the doors. Suddenly, the sounds stopped. I quietly set the jar on the floor and prepared to relive the worst moments of my life. My basement was the last and was the farthest from the exit. To get out, I had to walk down the hallway about 5 meters, turn the corner, and walk about 20 meters there. But that damn door was around the corner. The light was fading. A couple of bulbs must have burned out. I quietly passed the 5-meter section, stopped to think about what to do next. To walk carefully 20 meters or to run and make a noise. I chose the first option. Walking confidently, I added pace. There were 3 meters left to the damn door, as suddenly there were sounds that made me have to go down the wall to the floor. I stood up and rapped sharply. Running home, I grabbed my phone and called my friend, telling him I'd be spending the night at his place. Now, when I think back on that incident, I can't figure out what scared me more, the knocking on the door or the green slime-stained hand peeking out with nails instead of fingers. That scratched that door. A few years passed and our town decided to make new buildings, for we lived near the center. The house was demolished, the tenants were resettled, and according to some norms, it was necessary to inspect all the rooms, including the basement. As it was told later, a group of 5 healthy men said that there was no need to go there. There was no one there, but their superiors forced them to go in. They found a hole there which stank of rot. In the end, they poured concrete over it, writing it off as a mistake of the house designers. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and share the video with a friend.